Now then, crew, and welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. Now, to be fair, I've been messing around in the workshop this morning. I was given a winch a while ago where the customer said every now and again it stops working. Yes, more winch problems. So I did all the basic tests, just like we did in the previous video on winches. And my apologies if you're all winched out at this point in time, but this came along and I needed to have a look at it. And I thought I'd take you on the journey. So I checked the contactor. Now it's not the one contactor, that's already been swapped out for a different brand. Can't even remember what it is. We'll have a look a bit later on. And it seemed to work just fine. You know, the load test on the bench, all that kind of stuff, it passed. So then I put a direct feed on the motor itself, on the winch motor, and it worked. No problems at all. I'm thinking, what's going on? So maybe it's a heat related problem. Maybe we've got to use the winch under load for a period of time to highlight the problem. So I've rigged it up in the workshop with a load. Let me show you what I've done. Used.
You don't paint something without wiping.
Honestly. So this is a worn ProVantage 3000 and I've mounted it to my bench just temporarily so we can sort of load test it under over a period of time, because I don't have the vehicle, I only have the winch, and that's obviously wide. I've got rid of all the nasty jump leads and stuff now, and I've made up, well, found some cables actually. It's all wired up as it should be through the contactor block. I've bolted it down to a bit of wood, screwed it down so it's all secure, and of course that's powered by a 12-volt battery from an ROV, believe it or not. And then to load it up, if we follow the wire, there we go, look. Through that, now I only have one snatch block, which is down this end. There we go, look. And I've stuck an old Honda ATV engine as a weight, just to give it some kind of load. Now, I do know that these winches must not, as it says in the manual, under any circumstances, be used for lifting. Yeah. Oops. So this video isn't to show you how to test a contactor. We did that in the last video. This video probably isn't about stripping down the motor and the planetary gear set on the winch. It isn't. So what's it about? Well, the main focus of this video is to highlight the fact that some electrical components can only fail once they get hot, once they've done a bit of work. Now, that might be the motor, or it might be the contactor block. I don't recognize this brand of contactor block. Like I said before, it's not the worn one. I've never been inside one. So maybe we'll dig that apart a bit later on. But I want to find the fail first. So, a bit of testing required. Here we go. As with any kind of testing, it'd be good to know what kind of weight this winch is lifting off the ground. Now that's not normal use, but hey, you know, when it's pulling the ROV out, it's going to be pulling a hell of a lot more weight. So let's turn on the crane scale and we'll get this thing lifted up and we'll take a reading. I wonder what it could weigh. What have we got? 64 kilograms. Excellent. Not a huge weight when you compare to the loading applied to this winch when it's trying to extract an ROV for some really clatty mud up in the forest. but I think still sufficient to get the contactor block and the winch motor warmed up and see if we can replicate this customer complaint. Then we can make a start trying to diagnose what the problem is. Is it a faulty contactor? Is it a duff motor? I don't know, but we're here to find out. Here we go. Something else I'm keen to find out as well is what's the current draw from the winch under these sort of conditions. So we'll stick it on 400 amps DC, we'll chuck that in there. It might show a negative, I don't know. It's probably the wrong way around. Right, let's lower the winch down first so it's not under any kind of load. There we are. Right, now we're spooling in. Cool, we got to about 36 amps. That's nothing compared to what this winch will pull when it's trying to recover a stranded vehicle. But still, a good indication to what this test's involving. Right. Get rid of that. Right, let's begin that testing. All I'm going to do is lift the engine up, lower it down, lift the engine up, lower it down, lift the engine up, lower it down, and keep doing that until something happens. And that something happening will be the customer complaint. And I believe it'll be the winch stops working. It doesn't do spool in or it doesn't do spool out. I don't know. You and I are going to find out. Here we go. Hey up! What's going on? Hang on a minute. I think we found it. I came to spool out and nothing happened. So let's see if it'll do it again. Hang on. Yes. You see the spark. So there's current flow, but nothing's happening. But it took a bit of doing, did that. Right, we'll put that on there. Let's give the relay block, the contactor block, a little tap. Every tool's a hammer, isn't it? Right, here we go. Let's see if it's a sticking armature in there. Hang on, wait for it, wait for it. Oh. It's alright, I've got a bit to go yet. Right, so the problem is on this circuit. On the spool out circuit, well, assuming I've wired the winch up the right way around, you know, on the positive and negative, but this one. So whichever solenoid is triggered by this wire, that could be the problem. We need to get inside there, don't we? Right, let's try and make this thing safe while we work on that relay block. Contactor block, because the Americans named it. It's a solenoid. It's exactly the same. It's a solenoid. It really is. It's just a solenoid. Right. Two solenoids, actually, really, working together. One at a time, but working together. Okay, right. battery is gone. It's going to need a really good charge. Don't know where my nut went. Oh, there it is. We have a nut. Right, I'm going to run through these cables with you again, just so you know, because you may not have seen the other video. Very, very quickly, we've got blue. That blue wire goes down onto the motor. The yellow also goes down to the motor. Neither is positive, neither is negative, because the polarity switches by the contactor, the output. On the input side, we've got red, which is battery positive. We've got black, which is battery negative. We also have the 3 small wires. Sorry, I didn't wire this up. One of them is black. One of them goes to the black input, the negative input. And then we've got these 2 wires, which are switched live. Basically, 12 volts is put onto either of these 2 wires, one at a time, to either spool in or spool out. Check your color codes on these, because this is not a worn relay. We'll find out the brand very shortly. Right, let's get this lot taken off. Then we can get inside and see what's going on. I'm very interested to see what the internals of this other brand of contactor block are like, because you know, we know the worn ones inside out now. We've been in a few of those. It seems very strange why I'm suddenly getting all these, you know, all these winch videos to do, but it's just the way it is, I suppose, isn't it? I suppose in some ways it's good to knock it all out in one hit and then they're all done. But there'll be lots more winch videos, I'm sure, in the future. Right, that is the feed, one of the feeds to the motor. We'll get rid of that. Put the nuts and washers back on, Mr. Young. Right, last one. So this was battery positive, is the red. Pretty obvious really, but just had to clarify. Because, you know, not every electrician uses red as the live. Vehicle sparky, by the way. Okay. Right, that's all the wiring off. That was already on when I got it. Let's whiz that contactor off the bit of wood. I thought that was a really smart move, actually. It was a really easy way of mounting it in the vise then. Okay, to the bench. Okay, hopefully we've got all the tools we need. Let's get ourselves in there. So I'm going to whiz all these off. They will probably need to come off at some point anyway. Come on, you can do it. There we are. That's 1, 2. I don't want to break this one. I want to try and fix it because it actually seems to be pretty good. Very different design to the worn one. There's a lot less possibilities of moisture getting in. Right, I'm going to remove these because I think I'm going to have to do. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong actually, but we'll give it a go. I know I've got to remove that one because it's got a wire on it. I've not looked at any kind of schematics or diagrams or whatever you want to call them for this particular relay. I'm just going in cold. Sometimes it makes it more fun, doesn't it? Right, we have got seals just like on the worn contactor. Keep the Mr. Moisture out, which is good. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, has this failed because of moisture ingress? I'm almost tempted to just try and undo those screws first without undoing all of these, because otherwise it might all fall apart. Yeah. What do you think? What would you do in this situation? I might just buzz that down there just for now. Let's undo those screws first. And see what if there's any kind of resistance to taking the whole thing apart. Yes, I know there's no washer under that one. It's alright, it'll hold it for now. Okay, we're going in. We've got 5 screws to remove. Oh my word. That's 1. Pretty tight. Oh, machine screws. A proper thread. I like that. I like that a lot. That sort of says quality. We don't even know who made this yet, do we? Way! Oh my word. Right. Get down, Shep. Okay. John Noakes. That was the guy, wasn't it? Okay, so the brand is KF. Is it KFI? KFT? Don't know. There's the part number, C181001250. And that's the logo. There's a hell of a spring in here, so here goes. Ah, perfect. Okay, so all of the contactors, the contacts, are housed inside here. So we can have a look at that shortly. Well, they sure as aren't stuck, are they? Wow, a lot smaller than the one, but absolutely no sign of any moisture at all. And it's even got a little circuit board. What the hell? So chances are I'll have to unscrew all three, but then I can't take it out because the wires... Oops. Don't need a brain surgeon, Eric. Okay, we'll take those out for now because I've only got a fallout. Okay, well, here goes. We've got 3 screws. I might have to desolder those. I don't have to do that, but maybe, just maybe, the wires will pull through. I don't know. Ah, there's a little tiny cable tie in there, look. See that? Where's me snippers? Let's get rid of that. Okay. I hope you remember how this thing goes back together again. There we go. So that might, yes, I think we'll be able to pull those through a little bit and have a little sneak peek underneath. Okay, we're going in. My word. I might have to use a real screwdriver for that. Hang on a minute. Okay, see if these fit. Don't know, has it got a little dot on it? Okay, my God, my eyesight's terrible these days. Right, oh, they fit pretty well actually. Cheers, Simon. Sometimes you just don't need power tools, do you? Sometimes just do it manually and you're not going to mess things up. Right, so 2 of those. Is this one the same? I don't know. Let's have a look. It is the same screw. Okay, oh, we've got movements. Right, let me get... Oh, look at that. Must be super careful because these here are the ends of the windings soldered onto the board. Everything is covered in oil from yesterday. I took an ATV apart yesterday, completely stripped it. Right, hang on then. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Can we feed those through? I think maybe a bit of silicone spray just to help a little bit. I said a little bit, but you know, a lot. There we are, look. Okay, so pliers. See if we can ease that through. Ooh, that's putting a bit of load on the old circuit board, isn't it? There we go, look. I don't want to go mad, but I do want to see what kind of condition this thing's in. You know, have the seals worked? They have. Look inside there, look. It's very, very clean and tidy. There's absolutely no moisture got in there whatsoever. So, what could cause it? Well, we could have a dry solder joint. That one looks very, very blobby indeed. Not over impressed with that. Let's just, hang on, what was that wire like? Oh no, that's alright. Fancy using 2 black wires though. I mean, you know, that's going to cause some serious confusion, isn't it? Yeah, that one there looks very, very blobby indeed. So I might just resolder those. But I can do that with these screws back in situ so this whole thing stays together. Because don't forget, we've still got a lot more stuff to look at. We've got to look at the contacts. This is just the solenoid side, the actual windings. There is clearly something not right. Otherwise, it wouldn't fail. So, we could actually just power this up without the switchgear on top, couldn't we? Problem is, these things will go flying as soon as I release it, because they'll go boom up into the sky. And of course the whole thing is now cooled down. So when it's energized, it's going to pull those in. Okay, let's pop that to one side for now. Let's have a little look in here. Are you ready? Are you on screen, Andy? You are. Just. Oh, look at that. Tell you what, this is a lot neater than the one setup. I'm not saying it's any better, but it is neater. Look at that. That is very, very cool. Very cool indeed. Proper rubber seal around here as well. And it doesn't look like there's been any moisture in there whatsoever. But we can't see the contacts. We can't see how burnt those contacts are. So if I remove that stud, we might be able to get a bit deeper. Oh, I do like autopsies. Right, here goes. Just going to hold it in place for now. Right, just to refresh my memory, we've got a nut, we then have a spring washer, and then a standard or normal washer. Into your elbow, Andy. Right, okay, let's just pull that one out slowly. I don't want the whole thing to fall apart. Okay, so that has got contacts, and there is some signs of burning. You get me pointy stick. Oh, I lent this to Mrs. Mechanic yesterday and she's bent it. That should be a 90 on there. She's bent me pick. Oh, another excuse to go and buy more tools. Right. Yes, there's only a very minor pitting on there, but it's not bad, and it's what you'd really expect because it is a contact. And the same goes on here. Look, we've got some, well, basically some transfer going on. One thing that's a bit weird is there is actually no contact, like a raised section on there. It's just flat. Very odd. Very odd indeed. I'm not going to pull the whole thing apart because I know that little spring down there, look, is just waiting to fire across the workshop. Can you see down there, look? Little springy. He just wants to fire himself out. And so does that one. No, there you are, look, I've done it now. Bugger. Okay, well, again, a bit more burny marks underneath there, look. Mr. Spring. Okay, in for a penny, in for a pound, I suppose. Oh, geez, I didn't mean to do that. Will that one come out? Maybe not. Maybe because that's still too tight. Hang on. Maybe if we just slacken these a little bit, it'll have enough give to pop that out. There we are, look. Okay, so that's that side. There's Mr. Spring, not fired across the workshop, which is good. And just inspecting all these other contacts, and in all honesty, there appears to be nothing wrong with them at all. They certainly look to be in good order. And remember the symptom. When we had the problem, the solenoid wasn't clicking. We were getting current flow, be it small, but it wasn't clicking. If it wasn't clicking, then the armature wasn't moving. So the armature wasn't moving. It wasn't a fault in here. It was a fault in here, in this part. And I do believe that I suppose it could be a solenoid winding that's failed. that's, you know, broken. But very, very interesting. Right, before we reassemble this, let me go get my dielectric grease, because it's shouting at me for some dielectric grease. Now, Mrs. Mechanic's told me to hurry up because lunch is almost ready and I have to do some concreting this afternoon. I'm going to chuck a load in there because, you know, because I can. Now, this is, can we get on the camera? There we are, look. It's the Forge dielectric grease, basically, and it's the S421. Bloody good. Thanks, Jared. I always try to get the cans of stuff in the videos. Right, so spring, that's this side spring. Now, contacts. Am I going to do any? No, I'm not even going to bother cleaning them up because I don't want to change anything yet on this particular part. So will that go in there? Jeez, how did we do this? It came out somehow, didn't it? Somebody in the factory will be very, very good at doing this. There we are, look, that's one. See if you can do it again, Mr. Young. Probably not. Right. Am I on camera? I don't know. Honestly, I'm terrible at the moment with cameras. Don't ever ask me to take your wedding photos, because you probably won't be in them. Oh my word. Oh, jeez, I had it then. There we are. Right, she's in. They're both in. Okay, so the next job, let's stick some more dielectric grease on those bits. And this bit, just for the sheer hell of it. Now, that needs to go in like, oh, I saw the seal drop out, like that. There we go. Mr. Seal needs to go in there. There he is. Down there. In fact, a bit of dielectric grease, what the hell. Now, we said it was a plain washer, a springy washer, and then a nice brass nut, actually. Very good. Very, very impressed. Okay. It does feel better quality, sorry, worn, than the worn one. Okay, so there we go. Let's just finish off putting all the bits in here. So let's put a bit of dielectric grease under there, tweak that one up. Now, my apologies if the focus has been terrible. I have been jumping around a bit. It's not the camera's fault, it's my fault. Right, done that one, done that one. This one needs fixing, I think. Yes, it's missing its spring washer. Jeez, I'll hold that in place. Right, it's a bit more spray. Get that in there. There's your spring washer. And there is your brass nut. Almost like brass monkey, isn't it? Brass nut. Right. Not too tight, Mr. Young. Not too tight. Right, let's have that one out of the way. We'll hold you in place. A bit more spray. Cool. Let's get those on. Do it quickly so you're not going to get bored, or too bored, and then go somewhere else, like go and watch Erico, or Ivan, or Keith, or somebody. I don't know. I find this interesting. Maybe you don't. Okay, there we go. All done. Not a lot, just basically stripped it, reassembled it, had a little look. So as far as I'm concerned, that end is done. Stick him on there, look, there we are. Getting sticky fingers now. So the plan was, I think, just to be prudent, Can we test it? We probably can test it. We probably can. We'll just get these springs and stuff out of the way because they're only going to bounce somewhere. Where's my meter? How you want? Well, you can hear it beep anyway, can't you? I suppose you want to see the readings. Okay, quick test. Right, we're on. Now the problem is this is intermittent fault, so this is probably going to be just fine. So first of all, the wires coming up, we've got what would be the permanent ground, or the permanent negative. That's all good, isn't it? Okay, let's go with that one. Now we know that the fault actually was on this one, wasn't it? The green wire. So that's where it comes in. That's where it goes out. It was that one that looks worse, to be honest. And it's going to come back in here. There we go, look. Okay. And then we've got the other black wire. Comes in here. Goes out here. Goes round the coil and comes back here. And goes out there. I think all we can do, because all the wires on the coils looked fine, from what I could see, it wasn't ideal. Should we take another look? Let's be more adventurous this time. Now, forgive me if you've already seen this bit, but hey, you know, we've got to try and find the fault, haven't we? You can see why people just throw things away and go and buy another one. If it's faulty, just take it back and say, give me another one. Nobody ever checks anything anymore, or tests things. Because they're fiddly. Right, hang on, bear with me. We should be good at this by now. Here we go. Okay. Well, they all look good. This is a bit of a dodgy circuit board thing, isn't it? But I suppose once it's all bolted up, it's alright. There really isn't a lot to see, people. There really isn't. I think it's most likely to be a dry solder joint. Maybe we can do a continuity test whilst we're giving it a bit of a wiggle. Let me get some more wires. Okay, we'll put the beeper on there. Can you see the beeper? You can't even see the beeper, can you? Let's get a bigger, let me get a bigger tripod. Jeez. There we go. Right. I feel exhilarated now. We've got so much more space. Okay, so we'll just stick him on there. And we'll give him that one. And then let's get another lead. Let's do the green one because that's what we had the problem with. Stick him in there, look. Now it's going to beat the crap, but anyway, there we go. Maybe we'll put it on, where are we, ohms. Right, that'll do. Okay, so 4.4 ohms at the moment. And if we just give it a bit of a wiggle, is that going to change? It's not, is it? So at the moment, the circuit is basically, okay, so coming in on the green, it's going across the circuit board and it's going around this winding, one continuous bit of wire. It comes back and it's going back onto here, across the circuit board again and back out on the black. That was weird. We did have some movement, didn't we? All right, what's the ohms value of the other side? So we can just move that from here and onto this one. 4.4, 4.3. So we've got basically the same resistance on both sides. .2, 4.3. Okay, I'm going to go back onto the green because that's where we had the problem for sure. Where's my little pick? There he is, because my fingers are way too big to get in here. See, it could be in there. It could be that silly little crimp terminal there as well that could be causing the problem. Hang on then. Let's pop that on there, which should be bugger all ohms. Wow. 0.4 of an ohm resistance. Hang on. Okay, let me get rid of these. Let's go straight on with the leads. Right, 0.1 in the leads. Now, nothing there. Right, let's put these back on again and carry on where we were. I just had a hunch, you know, because of that. And I'm sure that that was tight to the stud. I'm sure it was, but hey, all that's gone now. We can't test it. Too late. Right, where's the black? Yellow, there we are. Right, so let's have a little fiddle around, see if that changes. So we're on 4.4 again. Okay. There is nothing happening. Giving it a wiggle test. Still at 4.4 or thereabouts. We'd see a significant increase in resistance if it went. I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, I'm going to resolder those, just basically reflow them again and put it back together and test it again. I think we'll find out. Yeah. Right, let's stick this thing back together again. That silicon spray. Where's me? There we are. Look. Stick a bit of that on there. Down there. And I think we can solder this up with it in situ, so to speak, rather than the whole thing, you know, moving around. What a video. It wasn't supposed to be a long video. It wasn't supposed to be a long video, Andy. Right, there we go, look. Okay. Let's get those screws back in again. Definitely a lot easier to work on than the one contactor. I'll give it that. And there is only one seal, one main seal, whereas on the one we had the whole base bit, and then there was a second seal, I think, at the top from memory. There we go. Right, I'll get the soldering iron fired up, and we're just gonna basically reflow all of those just while we're in, and I'm going to fit a new contact on there as well, a new terminal, and then and a new zip tie to hold things where they should be. Okay, let me get the soldering iron warmed up. Weller, brand of choice when it comes to soldering iron gas. What is it? Butane gas refill. Bloody good. Now, don't be an idiot, all right? Don't do it like that, because all you'll get out is the propellant. It needs to be inverted to get the gas in. And you can feel it getting colder inside, so you know the gas is going in. You always lose a little bit. It's never a full seal. Jeez, that was cold. Yeah, that's full. Oh, right. Hopefully the gas will have dissipated and we won't blow ourselves up. Wow. Pretty good. Right, we'll let him warm up. This is my favourite soldering iron, made by Dremel. I do like it. It's done a lot, this soldering iron. It really has. Right, let's get this thing soldered up and back together. Mrs. Mechanic has just called me for lunch, so I'm in trouble now. Okay. I'm just going to wet the soldering iron a bit. Okay, here we go. I am not a solderer. Some big ass blobs on here, aren't there? There we go. Try and remove some of the solder off that one because it's got quite a lot on it. I could use a bit of wire, I suppose, can't I? I really can't be bothered. That's alright, that'll work. Happy with that. Good job, little soldering iron. Well, they all reflowed really, really easily, and I'm very happy with it. It's a shame they didn't cut those little tails off, isn't it? I know they're too big. There we are, looks a bit tighter, isn't it? Seams are in here. There we go, a bit tidier. Right. Bit of spray. Can't go wrong with some spray, can you? Okay. 1, 2, there we go, look. Right, almost there actually. So we've just got this little cover to go back on, which went in, geez, that way, I think. Yeah, pretty sure it went in that way. Yes, because it's got a little hole there for the screw. I think we'll find that will work like that. Bit of spray on the seal. There we go. Okay, now this thing was a bit of a pain to put back together again because it was fighting me all the way. Okay, Got to line up those two with the little gold plungers at the top. Oh yes, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there we go, look. What camera work, Mr. Young, what camera work. Okay, let's get that honk down there. And then we can get some screws in quickly and efficiently. Here's my screwdriver. Right, that's one. The pressure's off. Where's my little tool? Oh, man, that hurts. Okay, here we go. Of course, I'll tweak them all up manually. Way, easy tiger. It would help if it was the right bit. Right, lunchtime. Lunch is done and Mrs. Mechanic is happy again. So, what's left to do on this contactor block? Well, the only thing that I can think of is to replace that little ring terminal there, look. Then we can plumb it all back together and then everybody's happy. Yes, that goes on there, look. Only just, it's just long enough. So we can't really cut the wire down any shorter. Okay, let's crack on with that. Right, said Fred. Oh, and we've got a little zip tie to put on there as well, haven't we? So do that a bit later on. So let's try and preserve the wire length as much as we possibly can. Let's get the insulator out of the way first. It looks a pretty good connection, doesn't it? But that can be lying. You never really know with these things. Jeez. There we go. Right. I'll just bear that back a little bit more, he says. There we go. Right, insulation. Don't forget that. Let's try and give it a little bit of an end on it. Dum 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 dum. Okay, we're going in. Oh, that's pretty good. There we go, look. Right. Done. So, zip tie. We're going to find a zip tie. Hopefully, dokely. So, you see, it just doesn't reach, does it? And that's why they had it coming out the side there, look. So, where's my spanner? So they had that ring terminal underneath this nut from memory. Dum 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 dum, silence. Okay, so I think we'll put it between these two. Oh, it does just fit. Come on, you can do it. Chicken teriyaki sandwiches for lunch today. That was nice. I think like that actually, don't you? I don't think this was the problem. There we go. Okay, so that one can't have a zip tie on it because it's just too short. Geez, it might be able to have a zip tie, but only just. I think it'll just go like that, don't you? Maybe the zip tie, I'll just give it a bit of support. Let's have a look. No, it's not, is it? Okay, we'll pull that up out of the way. There we go. Coolio, it's supporting those two, and that one's a rope. Sorted. So the question is, does it actually still work? Well, let's find out. So we'll put, this is going to be negative, so negative onto there, and we'll use green as the positive. Okay, so we should now get clickety click click click. We do, and clickety click click, we do. Right, do we get continuity? I know it's not a load test, but it's better than nothing at this stage. Okay, so we've got red and black, so I don't know where they go. Let's plug that one onto there. Right, red, where does he go? Does he go there? Does he go there? He goes there, look. Cool. So if I disconnect power, yes, power. There we go. Look. Right, so that's that one sorted out. Let's try the other one. So now red goes to yellow. There we go. Look. So that's those two that are good. Let's try this one. So black to yellow, no, blue. There we go, look, black to blue, and then we'll flick it around and black to yellow should be good. There we go. Right, super. Okay, it is working. Excellent. It's a KFI. I've just cleaned all the gunk off it there, look. KFI contactor block. Now I've never stripped one of these down before. This is the first time, and in all honesty, I'm actually very, very impressed. You know, this has been used in very similar conditions to the worn ones, and it seems to have survived incredibly well. Yes, it did have an internal fault, and no, I don't think we really were conclusive in our diagnostics, but we sort of, you know, checked everything, hedged our bets. It might be a loose, you know, a dry solder joint, so we flooded those solder joints again just to try and get them to recontact. I don't really have the time now. I've got to get on with some concreting to do any conclusive testing again with this to see if that problem reoccurs. Instead, my plan is to fit this winch onto one of these beams, probably the center beam, and I can use it in anger to lift up ROVs. I've got a lot of ROVs coming in for servicing over the next few weeks, and I can use it to lift up one end of the ROV to put the axle stands underneath. You know, much quicker than using trolley jacks for sure. And I'll report back to see if I come across the same problem again. If I do, then chances are this will get swapped out and I'll fit a new one, probably one of the worn ones that we tested that seemed to test just fine, and just move on with my life. I don't think I'll be pulling it apart again, but I thought it'd be really good in this video. You know, we've had a good look at it. We know how it works. We know what the internals look like. We know about the quality of this contactor. And yeah, very, very happy actually. I'm quite impressed by the old KFI. Yeah, good job, people. Okay, crew, well, that brings us to the end of this video. It does, that's it. I feel like we haven't reached a conclusion. But hey, further testing, then we'll know, won't we? And I'll let you know on one of the live streams. Oh, live streams, don't forget, 8:30 a.m. every Sunday morning. And that's New Zealand time. We're in the future compared to most of the planet. So just bear that in mind. It's not Saturday, it's New Zealand Sunday. So, you know, that could well be your Saturday, not our Saturday. You're confused? Google it. Google will tell you whatever time it is in your part of the world. If you enjoyed the video, why not subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and our friends at YouTube will they'll send you a notification. You know, you'll see them pop up on your smart device as and when I upload any new videos. You'll also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can email me too. My email address is in the description, and yes, it is me that answers those emails. For now, I don't have that many subscribers. It's not hard, actually. It really isn't. But I do my very best to answer all the emails that come in. If I have overlooked your email and it's important, feel free to send it again a few days later, and it might well remind me. I'm actually a very, very busy chap, so I'll do what I can. Now, if you'd like to support the channel, you can do that through Patreon, and you can also do it through PayPal. And again, links for those are down in the description. For all of you that have supported the channel up until now, thank you very much. Without your support, we couldn't do what we do here. Right, time to go. See you next time, crew. Cheers. Over and out.
And you get the flip.
Oh!